So I can't really talk about court today, but what I will tell you is some of the witnesses that I thought would not be in favor actually turned out to be in favor of me. I haven't mentioned this yet, but some of my intel prior to today, like starting back when my case started, I was told by somebody that Christopher Sachs not only had placed me under, that's Chief Ball Sachs, if some of you are following along, under investigation by Gang Task Force Unit. Now, I found this preposterous because I've never been part of a gang in my entire life, including back when I was on illicit drugs and spun out doing an 8-ball of methamphetamine a day before God blessed me with recovery. It's also my understanding he had also placed, Marysville PD at his direction, had placed the former probation officer under investigation by Gang Task Force Unit. Now, I bring this up because, well, I can't really talk about that. But it does appear that I was being surveyed, and so were other people around me, at least at the time of the accident, based on what I've learned today. Now, it looks like, based on some of the witness testimony, that this is actually just what I said it was. It's Marysville PD trying to figure out how to fuck me before my efforts send their chief of police and God knows how many other are corrupt, doing corrupt things. They've had a bad reputation for 50 years at that police department, to prison. If not for Sarah Matthews Easton's murder and conspiracy to cover up her murder. But whatever else they're doing, let's keep in mind my investigation, the investigation based on a complaint I made right after 3 city employees plus 4 cops, also city employees, resigned. When do you leave a government job before retirement age? Why would you give up a job no matter how shitty your fucking performance is? You don't get fired. It was an interesting day today, folks. I've had remorse about the accident and that situation since it happened. I don't know, folks. I can tell you that it's not about the money. I've never sued anybody. I didn't sue when the sheriff deputy shot my dog. I didn't sue many other times I could have sued. But I can tell you, between what Marysville PD has done to me and others involved in this case and prior, on top of the, failing to comply with Freedom of Information Act on getting me those crime stats in a timely fashion, including a, extension to August 8th, which I believe was 2 weeks beyond what they initially would have had by law they were entitled to. I'm going to sue the fuck out of Marysville. I don't give a shit if they're bankrupt. I don't give a shit if they have a tax measure. This isn't about money. This is about corrective actions and making sure what has been done to me and others with a hell of a lot flawless, better than anybody I know personally. Well, maybe not. I know a lot of people, but better than most people around here to have no fucking criminal record and be put through the ringer like myself, and not even nearly, these people weren't even as aggressive. They were trying to protect their car before it was stolen. They were trying to protect their house as a former law enforcement officer. The list goes on and on. All you've got to do is look at my post and look at the comments and see other people who've had similar issues with police harassment, abrasive behavior. I mean, until we got these young kids who are a different cut from a different cloth, it still might be a crime-ridden city where they want to tell us, approve the safety tax to keep Marysville safe and use statistical trickery, but at least the young cop kids don't fuck around and threaten us, and at least they're kind and professional and stuff. Well, we got to get rid of some of these assholes who've been at that department during, multiple tenure of corrupt leadership. I mean, I heard a couple leaders before Chief Easton left because of the fucking corruption and the fucking around with each other on the clock, embezzling time and this and that. They didn't want to fucking out, they were, this has been a long ongoing problem, and it's time to stop. And some of the other victims, they're too scared to speak up, who've been victims of this corrupt little police department. Maybe it's because I'm in constant pain and agony. Maybe it was a spiritual awakening during my initial recovery almost 18 years ago now. Being one of the first graduating members of California Prop 36, where you, the voters, and me, I voted to give it to us too, voted that people with chemical dependency issues should be treated more like a fucking patient and an illness than criminals, especially for simple possession and stuff. But I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid for them to shoot me. I fear that they will continue to harm my loved ones, as they have exhibited their willing to do in part today and in the past. But at the end of the day, if they want to ruin me, they're not going to ruin my credibility when I've been right so many times about so many other things, and that, their department has a history of being dirty, including, the current chief being a part of a conspiracy to cover up the murder of his ex-boss's wife. It is what it is, folks. I mean, we've got to do something about it, and I don't know. I mean, a lawyer's going to be in it for the money. I don't know if a class action here on some of the rest of the police department's victims who will have the courage to speak up in the comments about their mistreatment by the police are willing to jump on. I don't know shit about the modern day legal justice system besides what I've been learning since, November, well, I guess it would have been like December 1st or 2nd or whenever that I first got arraigned in this case. I had been out of the court system besides speeding tickets for something like, fucking 17 years, because I was coming up on 17-year anniversary of recovery. So, minus the 3 years of probation, so what, 14 years prior to the accident, I hadn't been in any trouble when I was a revolving door client of the courthouse. Something's got to be done about this little corrupt piece of shit police station, and it takes 63% of our budget, and they do such a shitty job that they would reprimand citizens for calling and reporting attempted car thefts, only to threaten the citizen, and then, the car gets stolen because of their inadequacies. A former probation officer fires off a warning shot, 3 fucking people coming over the fence, home alone. My situation, I'm telling you, it was an accident. I mean, I can prove it's an accident. There's another way around going to a jury trial. I mean, the court would have to approve it, and there's ample evidence on that. But myself, I would rather take this to a jury trial, put my fate in the hands of my fellow citizens, and put my fate in the Lord and whatever He's got planned for me. I'll tell you, when I was in custody, all I did was preach recovery to people. And, on one of my last days there, I think it was the afternoon before I'd have my little near-death situation experience, what are you chewing, dog? Hold on. In any case, Somatics asked me, okay, Zach, so what's the purpose of us getting clean? What's in it for us? Which I had forgotten how jail and the addict mind worked like that. And I go, wow, well, hold on a second, let me think about it. So I thought about it for about 10 seconds, and I go, okay. Well, besides not worrying about my rent being paid as long as I have an income of any kind, and my PG&E bill not getting, turned off and this and that, because I'm not busy trying to support a habit or, figure out how to fucking recoup some money lost on fronting product out or whatever to pay for my own addiction. I said, we all know in here what it's like to have the bag and have all these elites around here love us and think we're great when they're partying with us, buying our dope, doing our dope with us. And then as soon as the cops roll up, we're the biggest pieces of shit the society's ever seen, and the elites and their children who want to party or have a chemical dependency problem, they get off scot-free. What you get to do when you don't fucking break the law and you basically stay straight as an arrow as far as your recovery and trying to be a citizen go, is you make it where you can fight some of these corrupt bastards that we know are worse than us. Maybe they're raping, women with chemical dependency issues or kids, or doing other stuff that we know about as people of the street. And they go, oh, that does sound fun. So if I go to prison or I stay out here. I'll continue to mentor people and teach them how to fight this corrupt oligarchy and system. One way or another, I believe that is my fate. And, anything I can do to help more people take action against such tyrants that are robbing us, our tax dollars. They're robbing us while they commit more crimes than most of the people I've seen on this docket in the last year, almost year, 9-10 months. We got to fight, folks. We've got to fight this corruption. They've got more to lose than us. And when government bureaucrats, especially dirty cops, go to prison, it's not pretty for them. And some might even call it divine retribution. Have a good evening.